Well, you could call it spring training Rochester style. The game is played by drivers, and the object is avoiding potholes. But even before the damage from this rough winter, nearly 40% of Rochester area roads were listed as poor or mediocre. And if you own a car, you are paying for it. 13 Wham's Jane Flash is in the newsroom now.
Well, Doug, so you avoided those potholes and that trip to the automotive shop. Well, guess what? You're still paying for the cost of these rough roads, and you're paying not only once, but twice.
The pothole was so large that it ended up breaking off part of the rim.
The folks at Gates Automotive have seen it all this pothole season.
Unfortunately, you have to drive until you can get off to the side of the road, and then it tears up the inside of the tire.
Now they're also seeing cars growing old before their time, the impact of driving on rough roads year after year. If driving was a school subject, this stretch of Vintage Lane near Heritage would get an F, along with 37% of the roads in the Rochester area.
It takes years of heavy use of the system, of tough winters, of underinvestment. But what happens, though, is that it gets harder and harder to turn that ship around.
Even without an expensive repair, rough roads cost Rochester drivers $402 a year for things like tire wear and depreciation. Our cars are aging prematurely.
We see a lot of shifted belts and tires. We see people with not a lot of miles on the car, but the suspension is worn. The tie rods and ball joints and things that are part of the suspension wear faster than they should.
Add the cost of that wear and tear to the cost of gas tax and vehicles fees that are supposed to pay for road repairs, but don't. A recent 13 Wham investigation found only a quarter of the $3.8 billion collected by the state each year is actually spent on road work.
New York State really has to work together to fix the dedicated highway and bridge trust fund. It's supposed to go towards the infrastructure of roads and bridges, but because of operating costs and debt, we haven't been able to take that money and use it where we need it to.
Now, our earlier investigation found the money you paid for those road and bridge work went to DOT salaries, phone bills, and operating costs. Delaying road repair also costs taxpayers more in the long run. Fixing a poor road is 19 times as expensive as maintaining a good road. In the newsroom, Jane Flash.